सो तोपर्यंत hello everyone, good evening and welcome all. So here we are with another monthly session into cybersecurity. So today we are gonna dive through a very good range of topic where we will be discussing among different things. And today we have Aditya Shende over here, aka Kongsek. You must be knowing him and heard about him a lot. Uh, so I guess Aditya still doesn't need an introduction. I'll try to describe him in a very short way. Aditya has been a very recognized hacker. He has been among the top hackers on Bugcrowd, HackerOne. He has gone his way through various bug bounty platforms and made a lot of money from it. And he's been also a corporate trainer, as well as he's been a international speaker, keynote speaker at various places. And today we are very we are welcoming Aditya over the stage at TechBrewers, and we will also learn few things about like how we can take our way into WCAN. That's WCAN, Web, Cloud, API, and Network into cybersecurity. So I guess I'll hand over the stage to Aditya and let him do the all. Yeah,
Okay, thanks, Vaibhav. So, as you know, the main background about me or myself, I'm into cybersecurity, or you can say the technology from almost last 8 years, hacking, cracking, and doing all the things. But the people who have already attended my talks, or the people who have already seen what I do, so apart from that, today's way a bit different. So, not actually doing the practical session, but mostly we'll be looking through over the slides, because most of the people have the errors, or they have the questions like how actually get into started into cybersecurity, but they do the mistakes, what things has to be done, and what things they are going to do the mistake. So the point of view here is, even if you want to get into cybersecurity, what key points you need to notice. So that will be talking, and surely I will be sharing my screen so we can start officially from that. So yeah.
sure.
So I hope my screen is visible to all. Okay. So in this case, let's get started with this. So talking about the cybersecurity and WCAN. So what does that mean? So we'll be talking about web, talking about the cloud, API, and the network. So even in the cybersecurity, bug bounty is just not the field. There are a lot of things can be done into the cybersecurity. Now, on the other hand, let's go for the official introduction. So you guys know me as Aditya, aka Konsek. I'm into bug bounties. I'm a active bug bounty hunter and a trainer, offensive security professional. And from almost 7.5 years, I'm doing the bug bounties officially and made the rank about Bug Crowd Top 100. Apart from that, I have done my education's master's in cybersecurity from University of East Anglia. Now I'm the former CHO of the Expo. Now, point is like this is the basic introduction which I have given already to the many people. So many people know about it. So when we talk about WCAN, so mostly my favor goes to the red teaming, or you can say the offensive security part. Now it's not related to that, but also you can master into web, you can master into cloud, API, or the network. People make the mistake like they put all the hands on their different stones, but they don't know what exactly things has to be done. So we'll be talking about what things is important in cybersecurity or this kind of thing. Now the point is, if you talk about cybersecurity, obviously there is a lot of money, and I see bug bounty hunters like friend of mine, they are literally making like $20,000, $25,000 a single report. But the point is, people really don't want to invest their time into the real time knowledge. So they just wanted to go for how can I start, what things are important, what checks has to be done. From my side, I have only done masters in cybersecurity. Apart from that, I don't have any kind of certification. But the point is, if you have a good kind of skill set, if you have good kind of network, how you communicate with the people, how you pitch your business ideas or any kind of technology that is coming up, that will be recovered. So reading is important, but how much you imply. So these are the official three definitions of web security, cloud, and the API. So we do have the networks also. But the point is, when we talk about the definition, you can literally read what has been told, what things has to be done. Even into the cloud security, there is a policies, control, service used to protect data and application, and whatsoever the threats. Now talking about the API involving the application programming, right? So when we talk about these specific things, you have to master one. So from my side, initially in my days, I have selected the web securities. So if you go here, what is important? So when I selected the web security, my first task was how can I exploit it? But that time I have used a different methodology. So if you can see here that you can detect, you can exploit, you can report, and that will generate to cyber wealth, which means in web security, I have started gaining knowledge about how we can detect the vulnerabilities first. But for that, what is the important necessary? That time I didn't have the code figure or any kind of these kind of things, like not even the AI, right? It's been almost 7 to 8 years, and reporting bugs, finding vulnerability, detecting, exploiting, doing the research studies, and writing the papers about it. It's very tough part. Now, into the web security, when I started it, what was the important point that you need to know how the basic things works. That includes a simple part. Let's suppose we can count as maybe the Linux commands. You can talk about the proxy tools, how the network traffic and how everything works. Apart from that, a lot of new vulnerabilities has been came up. Now many people said, or even my mentors or even my senior people, they said like, Aditya, you have to think out of the box. Now the point is, I really don't know how to think out of the box. But when I started finding the vulnerabilities, I started getting out of scope, or you can say duplicate, or that was not valid actually. So I was doing random things. So for that, what I did, the moment it gets started into web security, so you guys maybe know BWAP, you guys maybe know like a damn vulnerable application. These things were available. Now, once I selected the web security, my just task was to read the definition, read the public reports, and replicate the same things on that. So just reading is not important, but how you imply that in your real life. That will be similarly affected for the cloud security, also for the API security. I'll be having a small sort of example that I will explain you. Now, in that scene, we have nowadays how you can get started into cybersecurity. In now, it's your time that you have to choose a defensive way or you have to choose offensive way. So, in that case, in a detection part, if you see my whole slide, so that will be related to offensive security totally, or finding breaches or vulnerabilities, detecting, exploiting, and reporting. On the other hand, what you can expect or how you should go. So first of all, first month you should directly start execution and implementation. For just for information, let's suppose you have started researching through the Postfigure Academy and reporting or finding the same vulnerabilities onto your targets or onto your website, which means you're slowly getting into the web security. Once you understand that, in 6 or another month, you can read about the new topics. You can start for the API. So when we talk about the web security or website pen testing or web application testing, what kind of bugs you can find, that will be very easy. But are you going to research yourself or are you going to upgrade yourself? That is also important. So in 6 months, first to another 6 months, you have to just read things, replicate those things over the post figure labs or any kind of vulnerable web application you might have, or you can start sharing with the friends. Now in the another 6 months, you can start with the API, which means you have the experience of 6 month technical, the practical experience about the web security. In 6 months, you have started about the API testing. You can start about reading about authorization, authentication, how the access control works, and what keywords are important. So initially, even if you don't know what is a hack, what is a hacking, or maybe the authorization, you can still learn about it. But just point is you must have the curiosity how you should go for it. Now into the 1 year result. Obviously, once you started learning API security, you will overcome the web security. So if you have experience into APIs, you will find the web is also a bit easy. Apart from that, in total first year, you will be learning a different technologies, which means in expectations you have learned about web security, you have learned about API security or API testing, and apart from that, slowly you will get to know what kind of things you have to do. It is not necessary to do the certification, but always make sure if you have a good skill, you can do a lot of things. Now, what is the focus of total being into the cybersecurity? What is the main point here? So when we talk about cybersecurity is important, what is the focus? Obviously, we talk about the money only. But the point is cybersecurity making a lot of money? This is the main question. Are the people into cybersecurity they are making a lot of money? So I would say yes, definitely. But I would still say that the things which are important includes some mental health, your physical health, and that will there are few things which is like burnouts, right? So focus initially you have to make sure that you are doing it over a specific part, which is your mental health, your burnouts. Now the point is, what are the common questions I have seen? Because as you know, that mostly I'm into this specific field from last 8 years. I'm doing a lot of research over that. Many people ask me the question like Aditya, how you can do the things which are needful. I get the burnout. Do you manage how you can do the things? So I'll talk about what are the questions I have got till the moment. So people ask me like, how do you do the bug bounties? Is it often or what? So I would say I do the bug bounties daily. So how I do that, I properly create the schedule for the regular breaks, downtime to avoid the daily burnouts. So is my bug bounty primary job or it's like a part time? So I would say yes, it's a part time. So what I do, I ensure that my part time activities do not overwhelm with the primary job. People ask about the question because why these are important. This is actually related to the mental health. So many people say like, Aditya, do you find it difficult balance to do the bug bounties and other responsibilities like include the job, include the studies and the families? So yes, I do find the security issues, or you can say I bit get insecure about it regarding the things because as a cybersecurity person, your life is pretty busy. You're always on the internet. What things has to be looked and what things has not to be looked because a moment you detect a vulnerability, let's suppose there is a 0 day has been come up. So why I'm talking about a new keywords? This is for the beginners actually. For the beginners, these keywords might be new, but for the experienced people, these keywords are pretty known or they know about it. Just imagine there is a CVE or maybe you can say a 0 day came up that is totally going around to the Twitter and each and of the places. Now on Bugcrowd platform or the HackerOne platform, all the reports of the vulnerabilities will be flooded with that specific 0 day. So as a cybersecurity person, or you can say into the pentest field, or you can say hacking field, you have to be very active on that. Focusing on money is very important, but focusing on the mental health, doing the schedules, doing the breaks is also important. Now, I'm telling you how you can learn actually, how you should study. So, for an example, this is the exploit which I found over the S3 Amazon AWS. So, basically, this was the easiest exploit. So, my task was like, how can I exploit it more? Because if I'm only accessing a specific files related to the target, that is not enough. So this was related to one of my target that I was able to access. So I got to know my target is specifically using S3 buckets. So this is related to the cloud, you can say related to the web, and end of the day, unless and until it is connected to the web secure internet, you can find it out. So I will tell you what exactly the vulnerability is over here. I found a bunch of URLs That was including zip file, that was including internal pictures, that was including a lot of data, might be invoices, PDFs, zip files, and a lot of things were there. When I opened that URL, the URL were starting with s3.amazonaws.com, and there was a different path. So I thought like this is only affecting to the my target. But is it possible I can directly try to hack into Amazon AWS, get all the URLs, and selectively I can start a graping, or I can start looking for the my targets, which means my thought process went very high level where I wanted to hack Amazon AWS directly, not a specific target. Somehow I managed to get the Amazon AWS URLs, and from that I got almost 6 to 5 targets which were vulnerable for this. What I was able to do, I was able to get their details, I was able to get their invoices, zip files, SQL files, and a lot of data. Similarly, this is related to the cloud. So if you see the cloud, they have services, a lot of things I will be discussing into further slides. I'll tell you the another part. So this is related to the cloud security, or this is related to the cloud applications. Now jumping on to the next, this was the vulnerability that I found into the Adobe Experience Manager. Now it was a very different vulnerability. I was able to do a lot of things, but fortunately, if you see the reward range goes to the $1,300. Now the point is, if I'm able to exploit that specific part that is related to the web or web application, obviously they are going to make a bounty on that or make a monetary compensation on that. But the point is, how did I learn about that specific vulnerability? How to learn new things? How to think out of the box? Many people say like, Aditya, you got the bounty, you are making a lot of money, you are doing about bounties, a lot of things, and then it's not like that. But how much efforts the bug bounty hunters actually putting into the research exploiting, you don't know. You see the money but you don't see the hard work, how it is really going. Now it's your choice. Do you want to choose the red pill or do you want to choose the blue pill? What is the meaning here? Red pill leads, or red pill represents the offensive way. The blue pill represents the defensive way. Now, individually, from my own experience, I do really enjoy the red area of cybersecurity, where I go for the pen testing, I perform the activities, I found the vulnerabilities, try to exploit them, how it is impacting on organization, how it is impacting on the companies, and how it can impact on the customers. Whereas in the blue part, you have to totally go with the defensive way, which means you will try to secure as much as you can. Choose your path, and then you can move further. For the cyber security, you can at least take a 1 year. Many people ask me like, Aditya, I'm doing this class, I'm doing this course. Is it possible to learn a cyber security in 2 3 months? So my answer is always no. So mindset is very important. Where your decisions are also very important. So from my side, I have selected the red area of cyber security. I enjoy the pen testing. I enjoy a lot of things here. Now, being on the point, we talk about the clouds, which means you can directly select your point of view that you want to go for the red, you want to go for the blue. Now on that, you have to, let's suppose you have to work over the cloud security measures. So for the keyword, you can see there are a lot of keywords in front of the screen, like IAM managements, data encryption, firewalls. You can see DLPs, compliance monitoring, security auditing and monitoring, disaster recovery, backup, and endpoint security. Many of the people really don't know the meaning of these keywords. Few of the people are pretty new to this. Few of the people might know this, and even if some people know what they are doing, they literally don't know that whatever I am doing, is it related to IM management, is it related to disaster recovery or backup or whatsoever. So from my side, even I had these kind of questions in my mind. So when I give a specific interview or questioning to the any kind of person who asks me like, Aditya, do you know this kind of vulnerabilities? He uses specifically technical keywords which I don't know. But the point is, the moment I see in front of my eyes, I know what he's trying to say. So in my case, the keywords are different, the wording is pretty different. In his case, the wording is different. Now that's why you have to learn about clouds. You have to learn about each of the topics which I'm showing. Now this is related to the cloud security. Also, other hand, there is a web security. So, for an example, let's imagine you have started learning about the web security and how you should learn. So, you have been doing a ports figure, you have been doing the bug bounties, or you are reporting bugs to the organizations. But the point is in web security, how you can learn about the attacks, or how you can learn about the things. First of all, choose your team. So in the case, your team is blue or a red. So from my side, my team is red. Learning AI based prompts, which means template generation. This is a bit technical, so I want you to understand what I'm trying to say here. So for an example, you can see the keyword PHP CV GitHub latest, right? There is another keyword Java CV latest, and there is a dark which I've used twitter.com. Now I'll talk about you that why these keywords I have mentioned. You can see the code here, right? So this is a CV which is related to 2024 4577, and you can see how it is trying to exploit the specific part. So this is specifically a template related to the target. Now the point is how I got to know about this. From my own side, I really don't know any kind of coding languages. I really don't know how to make automations or all those things. But if I can learn about it, you can also do the thing. Now, how you can learn the language-based attacks? So you can see I have searched about PHP CV GitHub Twitter. Whatever the keyword I wanted to search, I can look for it. Now you can see this is the latest CV, which is 2024, which is PHP CJ augmented injection. So I really don't know how this vulnerability works. Someone found the vulnerability, got the CV, and there's the augmented injection vulnerability of the specific part. Now, when I check the GitHub or a Twitter, so you can literally find their paths and the methodology, how you can detect it and how you can exploit it. For an example, if you talk about the Java-based vulnerabilities, or you want to learn about ASPX vulnerabilities, so you can simply search about ASPX CV latest. You can put site twitter.com or you can put site github.com, whatsoever you want, you can do the things. Similarly, PHP CV based, you can go for it. Now, where you can read about the CVs or the templates or report generation. So I would suggest you can directly visit the GitHub repository of Nuclei. Why? So you can look for a specific technologies or specific services or third-party vendors. For an example, there is a services from the GitLab. So you can start looking for the GitLab vulnerable keywords or vulnerable templates, which means what will happen when you start about learning about the GitLab vulnerabilities, and whenever you see the template or whenever you see any kind of target in your hand, so you can directly got the idea, or you will get the tube light that I read about the GitLab templates on a nuclear repository. I can use that specific templates. So when you are using those templates related to GitLab, maybe Atlassian, or maybe related to Java, you can directly visit it to that specific part and you can talk about it. Then it will lead to the exploitation. Now, this is the specific way where you should learn about the languages, not directly the coding, but the vulnerabilities. So it will be directly imply onto the blue team part also. But in that case, you have to go for the defensive way. You can actually look for how this kind of vulnerabilities are getting onto the uh, public sectors by using the search engines like Shodan, Census. You can learn about the honeypots, how it can go, and that will be more beneficial for you. Let's jump on the next. I hope this is the part you have understood, like what exactly things has to be done and how you should do it. So let me know if you have any questions. I believe if you have any questions, you would ask me. I'm just waiting for it. Okay. So here in the case, I hope you have learned about website to learn. You have to start learning about the language based attacks. Once you learn the language-based attacks or service-based attacks, you can start looking for the specific keywords. So let's suppose PHP CV GitHub latest, do the Google and see how it is trying to get exploited. So for this specific part, you can actually see there is a target. They have given a specific IP address and what kind of payload or the flag has been used. Now it depends on your capability of understanding the codes that how you want to exploit or how you want to go further. So this is how you should learn about it. Now talking about the networks, deep on that side, you have to choose a red pill or you have to choose a blue pill. Now you want to go into the hacking, you want to go for the pen testing, or you want to go for a specific kind of blue teaming, where you can patch the vulnerabilities, where you can secure the infrastructure through the networks. You can do a lot of things. So if someone says like, I'm trying to perform a denial of service attack over the specific network on that specific IP address ranges, or there may be mask subnets or whatsoever. Now you must know what he is trying to say or what she is trying to say, that what service or what kind of methodology they are going to use. So for an example, if someone says that we are going to do the pen test for your network and we are going to perform the denial of service attack on a specific ranges of your network, so you must know that what they are going to do, and on that basis, you have to choose how you can secure that or how you can take it down. That doesn't mean you have to pull out the wires, but also you have to make sure that you can do the things which is needful. So if they are performing a attack, you can try to include these all things through the CDNs or maybe the load balancers, how you can navigate or how you can distribute the network traffic to reduce the possibilities of denial of service attack. So this is for just one example. Now it will be similarly applicable on the web. It will be similarly applicable on the API. It will be same applicable on the cloud and the network also. But in that case, what are the two things I would suggest? Starts with the web. That will also help you into the API. Now, how? When you learn about web security, you'll start learning about the networks, how the protocols or the proxies work. And on that basis, you can go for the testing purposes. Now, the point is, if you talk about the API, application programming interface, where you try to perform all the authorization and authentication test cases over your target. So mostly web application they do use a third party API services. You would get to know the idea how you should test the API. Now the plus point, if you want to learn about API very easily, you can start reading the API documentation first. What headers, what keywords are important. Mostly authorization colon bearer is a very important header I have seen till the moment. Now the point is I can find a lot of information disclosure vulnerabilities within like you can say 20 to 30 minutes into my target, which is a big target. How I managed to do that? I can actually look for a specific kind of API workspaces which are publicly applicable. Now, many top hunters or many top security researchers say that you should learn the specific part of API, which is documentation. But reading the documentation, what is the next thing you have to do? Many people really don't know. By reading a documentation, what does he means to say or she means to say? Reading documentation, where you will understand how the endpoints of APIs are listed down, what is their path methodology, are they using post, put, get, head, or any kind of methods? Next part, what kind of parameters are included? What kind of privileges are important? Admin, super admin, sub admin, or lower based admin. So that will lead to the broken access control of vulnerabilities or these kind of small things. Now, on to the similar point, once you learn about how the header work, you can easily find the broken access control vulnerabilities. That is the easiest part that I would see. Now, for that, there is a new keyword will again come up, which is JWTs, tokens, access controls, expiry date. A lot of things will be here. So, for that, 1 to 6 months are pretty enough for execution, implementation, again, reading, implement, and sharing. Now you have learned about what things you have done. Now the similar cases you can share about those things to the community. So if you talk about the vulnerabilities or the techniques which I have developed or invented, I have literally made the articles for that. So you can share it to the community. The more you share, the more you can gain the knowledge. Similarly, 1 year, end of the year, you will be expecting a good results. You will be having a very good point in cybersecurity. So start learning through the public sources. If it's possible, then it will be a pretty good. But on the other hand, if you have a person or a mentor or maybe a friend that is into the cybersecurity, you can take the help of him or her. How you can go for it? It is not necessary that you should always have a mentor, but in my cases, when I had the mentors, that was for a very specific time, which means for a very short time, which means if I ask a vulnerability question or any kind of security question, that would be a very theoretical answer. But as a beginner, what we expect or what you guys expect, that spoon feeding. Do remember, spoon feeding is not the thing which you will get from the mentors or the people. They will guide you in a certain way where the keywords will matter, so you can just need to bit a google about it, how you can do the things. So this is the things which I would say that you should do while learning. And I expect a lot of things very theoretical I have given. If I wanted to give a practical example, then it would take a lot of time to explain each and everything. And I do feel like a lot of people enjoy actually my practical talk. So soon we'll be going for the practicals also. But till the moment, people who want to get started into WCAN, you can use this methodology. You can do the things which are needful, and it will be very different end of the year that what kind of results you will get. So yeah, so this is the main part I wanted to talk. Focus on the money. Apart from that, focus on the health also. Exploitation, you can see a basic example I have given. Always think high. So if you can hack a website or you can find a vulnerability into website, you can always find a vulnerability into their services. So you have to think high. Choose your team. Select your goal. Without goal, there is a nothing specific dream. So I would suggest things has to be learned. Learn about the keywords. Learn about the things which are necessary. These are the parts I would say. Now I hope a lot of things you have seen here, you can start implementing on your real-time target. Let me know if you have any question. These are the basic things were from my side. Let me know if you have anything to talk about. And yeah,
Thank you, Aditya. That was very, I'll say, beginner friendly as well as a thorough guide.
yeah.
And yeah, there's a comment from Kuber who was asking about whether the JavaScript is mandatory for secure code review or not.
So I would say like JavaScript is yes, it is needed for a secured code review. Now depends on if you are doing a offensive way or a defensive way. For example, I do most of the time offensive way. So I talk about the research, or you can say I talk about a lot of things. So recently I have created few of the two articles, which is JavaScript for bug bounties or pen testing, and recently I have anotherly launched how the JavaScript can lead to a lot of information disclosure, a lot of big things related to offensive way. Now that is Extreme 2.0 edition where I have invented my own methodology how we can go for it. Now talking about those JavaScript, many people make the mistakes like getting the JavaScript file, reading one by one line. That will not make sense. So specifically, you need to know why you are learning about the JavaScript, or you can say the secure code review. So for me, if I wanted to learn for the JavaScript, I would say that I will start learning about the parameters, header values, and the endpoints. Which means if I get the JS file or sorry the JavaScript file, I'll unminify that. I'll look for that specific keywords into the JavaScript, and on that basis I will try to use that parameters or the headers into my real-time testing, or you can say the pre-testing into the target which I have got.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I'll also like I have the same thoughts on JavaScript because it's almost used everywhere on like most of the web apps. And if you are going to do secure code review, absolutely there would be a like little bit of part of the JavaScript included in the code as well. So yeah, that is a must one.
Being into the
Uh,
JavaScript, it's actually give a lot of information to me. So learning about JavaScript is like highly beneficial for the secure code review. So which is like common usage in web applications, client-side security issues, many vulnerabilities such as like XSS, CSRF often involve like a JavaScript. But being proficient into JavaScript will allow us to identify the vulnerabilities better than that. So you can eitherly go for the Node.js and server-side JavaScript. JavaScript is also like server-side environment like Node.js. So it will expand the scope of JavaScript knowledge is applicable, including your backend security concerns or not. So first of all, learn about the manual things. Then, if you have any kind of tools suggestions like secure code analysis tools, or you can see the automation tools, you can go for it. But first of all, do the dynamic and static analysis. How do you feel about the parameters or the JavaScript, and what are the possible information you can gather from those files? So that will be more beneficial, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I guess I can't see much doubts right now. I hope so. Folks got it all right, and they are on to their way to prepare a journey into cybersecurity, WCAN, and they'll definitely follow the path you have guided in thoroughly. And yeah, here we can, I guess, conclude the event. And if like folks, if you are having doubts or anything, you want to know about bug bounties, security researching, you can absolutely reach out to Aditya. You can simply Google Kongsek and you'll definitely get his profile on the top. And you can connect him on various platforms. He also shares some great content on the Medium and different article platforms on his personal website as well. Also, I guess he have dropped some merchandise for hackers and like cybersecurity enthusiasts. You can definitely check it out. It's amazing. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the ape, and it was absolutely thrill and amazing to have you over the stage, Aditya. Thank you so much for joining,
Thanks,
and
Vaibhav.
thank you everyone.
Okay, guys, see you. Thanks.
Thank you all. Have a great weekend.